and welcome to the Economy This Week series of Drishti IS. I am Ritu and today's session is about important economic events which had happened in the past week, and this session is important for your GES 3 perspective. So moving towards the points of discussion part. So first of all, we are going to discuss the global minimum tax, then we are going to discuss about the UPI transaction, then we are also going to discuss about the T-bills, which means treasury bills, and then we are going to discuss about the gender budget of 2025 and 6. So we already know that in the daily programs we had already discussed about the budget, but in this session we are going to discuss that how budget has an outlook for the women and overall the gender development. So coming to the discussion part, our first topic is about global minimum tax, and this is the news. India asks whether global tax deal can work after US withdrawal. So as you already know that President Donald Trump had been elected in America, and after that there are so many political and economic changes are happening. So it is very a crucial question that India has thought that after the Trump who has became a president of America, whether this global minimum tax will work for all over the world and the nation who had signed for it. So this is the news. So first of all, we are going to discuss about that what is the global minimum tax. So it is internationally agreed upon minimum rate of tax that would be paid by large corporation. The new GMT sets a proposed rate of 15% on profits. So there are two pillars of GMT. The first is about that where taxes will be paid, and the second is about how taxes will be paid through GMT. And the second consists of three features, which is income inclusion rule, the second is under taxes profit rule, and the third is subject to tax rule. So these are the three things. So in simple language, if you want to understand that what is global minimum tax, so in simple language is that in the past events we have seen that there are many fraudulent activities done by the large corporation, that they make huge profits and they do not pay taxes. So in order to curb this problem, the OECD has proposed and G20 nation has also agreed for this particular thing. So what happens that suppose that there are two countries, the country first name is A and another country name is B. So suppose that there is a country whose origin and whose corporation is based in A and they are doing their business in B. So what happened that B has a higher tax rate. On the other hand, there are C or D kind of countries which has a lower tax rate. So what they does that they do everything in the B, but they always shift to the C and A countries which has a lower tax policy. So what happens that they are not paying taxes accordingly to their profits. So that's why global minimum tax has been designed in order to make a equitable system in order to pay the taxes. So this is the basic idea about the global minimum tax, and in this backdrop where a whole scenario is changing, the world economic order is changing, so that's why it is very pertinent to have this question that whether in the changing scenario of America this kind of application and this kind of system is applicable or not. So this is about the global minimum tax. Now we are coming to the next one, which is about treasury bill. So we already had discussed about the treasury bill in our daily programs and various economic session. So this will be a quick revision to the treasury bill. So what happened that what is treasury bill? So treasury bill are money market instrument issued by the government of India as a promissory note with guaranteed repayment at a later date. So this is for the short term requirement of the government, and this helps government in a various ways in order to control the inflation, in order to control the manage the fiscal deficit, so in order to control the rupee. So these kind of things, into all these kind of circumstances, these treasury bills are applicable. So this is about the treasury bill. in simple terms, if you want to understand about that, what are the different types of the treasury bill. So in India, we do have some types. So we have 14-day treasury bill, we have 91-day treasury bill, we have 182 treasury bill, and we have 364-day of treasury bill. So suppose that I am just giving you an example. You are purchasing a treasury bill cost of 100 rupees, and you are purchasing from the government on the 98 rupees, and on the maturity you will get 100 rupees. So there will be the profit of 2 rupees. So this is about the treasury bill, and we already had discussed about that why treasury bills are issued by the government. So in order to curb the inflation, in order to maintain the rupee, in order to maintain different kind of economic activities when there is a recession time. So the government issues the treasury bill, and in order to maintain the liquidity, cash liquidity in the market, the treasury bills are very much useful. So this is a short and quick revision about the treasury bill, because in prelims examination, especially in the PYQs, such kind of the questions have been already asked. Now here we are going to discuss about the UPI transaction. So UPI, you can say it is a very big achievement in terms of India, and in the last economic discussion we had already discussed about the digital payment system, and especially we had linked to the rural areas that we do have good UPI transaction in our country. We do have a very sound digital payment system in our country, but there is a problem in rural areas because of the lack of awareness, because of the financial system. We have these kind of problems. So here in short we are going to discuss about the UPI transaction. So why we are discussing about the UPI transaction? Because for the record time we have seen that unified payment system had seen a boost, a new record in terms of volume when it was started. So it was started in 2016, and this time we can see in the month of January it has jumped around 16.99 million in January, which was slightly higher than the December, which is 16.73, and this 16.99 billion is, sorry, not million, billion is highest ever. So that's why here we are discussing this thing, that how UPI is revolutionizing the digital payment system of this country. So here we'll have a brief discussion of the UPI, that what is UPI. So UPI full form is Unified Payment Interface, and it is a system that powers multiple bank accounts into a single mobile application and of any participating bank, merging several banking features, seamless fund routing, merchant payments into one hood. And it also caters to the peer-to-peer collect request. And with the above context in mind, NPCI conducted a pilot launch with 21 member banks on the 11th April 2016, and since 2016 it is very much successful in India, and we already discussed that it is very much helpful in the urban India. And in the last discussion we already had a discussion that what rural India faces in terms of the UPI. So we need to bridge all the gaps. So we already had discussed about the UPI transaction, that this time we had record breaking, billions of record breaking in terms of the UPI transaction, and how it is revolutionizing the digital payment system of the country. And the large number shows that more people are learning the UPI transaction. It means that we are also working on the financial literacy of the country. So now we'll discuss the gender budget. So we already know that the budget has been tabled by the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, and as it is said that without discussion of the women, no budget is complete, because women are the equal participants of this country. So it's very important to have a discussion on the half of the population of this country. So what Nirmala Sitharaman had tabled for the women and overall the gender development, we are going to discuss in this session. So this is about the gender budget. So here what we can see, that this time budget has a clear focus on the empowering youth, farmers and women, and they had also focused on the Viksit Bharat by 2047, and without the contribution of the women, without the support of the women, no country can become a Viksit, which is developed So that's why it's very important to have a discussion on women participation. And this budget had also discussed about the integration of the 70% of women into the workforce. Though it looks a very shiny goals, but it is achievable in nature. So here we'll discuss that what it has in terms of the employment. So the government has provided entrepreneurship support, and into that support new initiatives have been taken, and there will be the loans provided to the women up to 2 crore for the first time entrepreneurs, including women over the 5 years. And the budget had also highlighted on the female labor force participation, which has increased to 41.7% in 2023 to 2024. And Prime Minister Employment Generation Program, here we can see a miss because the funding has been reduced from 1001.50 crore to 862.50 crore. So here there is a miss. Also, we had to think about the rural employment. So MG Narega's allocation has increased to 40,000 crore, with women accounting for 57.8% days worked. So what here we can see that more than 50% of the women has worked, but only 33.6% reflected in the gender budget. So here there is a mismatch, that there is a 57.8% of the women days worked, but there is a problem with the budget, which is just 33.6. So we need to breeze this 57 to 33.6 point of gap. Also women in agriculture. So despite 80% involvement, only 13.9% are landowners. So this is a big problem, that women are very much enthusiastic and very much involved into the agricultural work, and we can say that women are the backbone for this agriculture. But still what we can see that most of them are the farm laborers. They are not owning the lands, and here we can see that only 13.9% women are the landowners. So we had to also think into this direction. Due to patriarchal norms, due to these kind of stereotypes, women are not becoming the landowners. So this is the thing. And the budget had also discussed about the Krishnonnati Yojana, which had given a proper budget of 2,550 crore. But here also it lacks a different provision for the women farmers. So we had to make sure that this budget should be utilized on the women farmer also. So coming to the education part, so we have one scheme which is PM Poshan Continue Funding Increase marks a positive step, and gender gap in higher education. So here also we can see that government is focusing a lot on the STEM, which is science, technological and engineering and mathematics area. But here what we can see that women are 40% STEM graduate, but only 14% got the job. So there is a difference, that 40% women are receiving the education, but only 14% have job. So we need to also reduce this gap. Then we have this National Mission on Education through ICT. So 100% allocation for women, but funding dropped from 551.25 crore to 229.25 crore. So this is a big concern in terms of the digital gender gap, because if we reduce funding here, then it will be a huge burden on the women, because women are already suffering from this digital divide. Then Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan, so it has increased funding from 12,375 crore and supporting overall education quality. And we have this PM Shri School also boosted to 2,250 crore, improving school infrastructure. So in terms of education, what we have seen that government is giving a special emphasis on school education, but there are areas, suppose as STEM, we need to work. There are areas, suppose that these kind of digital education, we need to work in terms of the women empowerment. Now here we'll discuss in terms of the safety and security, because this has been widely discussed and women's safety is always compromised. We had already seen various different kind of cases which has shook the entire nation. So it's very important that what government has thought about the safety and security of the women. So Nirbhaya fund has been increased from 180 crore to 200 crore. But there is a problem that 74% of the funds are not utilized. So here we need to make sure that we should have that kind of policy so that all these funds can be utilized and we can ensure better safety for the women. Then we have this Mission Shakti. Under we have two initiative, which is Sambal, which is a safety initiative, remains at 629 crores. So which is what you can say, what it was in 2023 and 4, it was same in 2025 and 6 also. In terms of Samarth, which is related to the women empowerment initiatives, so there is a significant increase from 953.74 crore to 2396 crore. And gender sensitive transport, so it is still underfunded despite 91% of urban women finding public transport unsafe, restricting employment opportunities. So here also what we can see that Nirbhaya fund has been increased, but there is a problem that it is underutilized. Then in terms of empowerment, we had increased our fund, but we have to also ensure that funds are increased, but they should be spent in a right direction. And in case of transport, the government has to work a lot, because 91%, this is a very huge number, 91% women still feel unsafe by using public transport. In Delhi we have metro, bus, auto. So we need to ensure that women are safe in public transport. They are not feeling safe, that's why they are not pursuing jobs. So this is an obstacle in front of women while pursuing job. So these are the gray areas which government has to work. Though we have some good highlights also, where government has increased the funds and government has launched new initiatives from school to the higher education. Now here we'll discuss the question answer. Which of the following statement regarding international expansion of UPI is correct? UPI can only be used within India. Several countries including UAE and Singapore have integrated UPI for cross-border payments. UPI transaction require dual authentication through OTP and Aadhaar biometrics in foreign countries. NPCI does not allow UPI to be linked with foreign bank accounts. So here you can answer into the comment section. Coming to the next one, consider the following statement regarding the Nirbhaya fund. The Nirbhaya fund support initiative like fast track courts, crisis centers and surveillance. In the 2025 to 2026 budget, the fund received an increase from 180 crore to 200 crore. Since its inception, more than 90% of the allocation fund has been effectively utilized. Which of the statement given above is are correct? 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 3 only, 1, 2 and 3. So you can answer into the comment section. We'll come to the next one. With reference to treasury bills, consider the following statement. Treasury bills are zero coupon securities issued by the government of India. They are issued for tenures of 14 days, 91 days, 182 days and 364 days. Which of the above statement is are correct? Only 1, only 2, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. So you can answer also. Then we have last question. With reference to global minimum tax, consider the following statement. The global minimum tax aims to prevent multinational corporations from shifting profits to low tax jurisdiction. It was introduced under OECD's base erosion and profit shifting framework with a proposed minimum tax rate of 15%. Which of the following statement? Which of the above statement is are correct? Only 1, only 2, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. So you can answer into the comment section. I hope you like this session. If you have any queries related to the session, kindly ask into the comment section and do quickly revise all these topics. We already had covered T-bills, so you can also skip that thing, but you should better focus on the gender budget, because if you have a better idea about the gender budget, it is very helpful for your economy examination, also for your essay and ethics examination, because there are questions and topics related to the women empowerment. So if you have a better idea that in which direction our government is thinking about the women, which are the gray areas, which are the areas where we can improve, so you can write your essay in a better manner, you can write your answer in a better manner. And also global minimum tax, what is the stake of India into this? So these are the new things which you can explore and which you can read for your mains as well as prelims examination. Thank you. Have a nice day.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.